One of our, not objectives, but one of our hopes, okay, is that people embrace Islam and become Muslims.
It may be the case that we'll find that the better we are, the more we're like each other. I mean, wouldn't that be a kind of union under something approximating God? That all good men could see in each other a reflection of something that was the highest?
Any religion, it doesn't matter whether it's Hindu religion, Muslim religion, Christian religion. If you are developing love of God, then you are perfect in your religion.
Hello and welcome to Theology Unleashed. I'm Arjuna and this is the channel where Eastern theology meets Western skepticism. In a recent podcast, Jordan Peterson was discussing with a Muslim scholar on the possibility of peace. Jordan Peterson was raising concerns about evangelical religions causing a lot of violence and was asking the Muslim how we can deal with this.
You know, Christianity is also an evangelizing religion, and
Yes.
Christians hope the same thing.
Yes.
So, well, you know what that has caused and is still causing. And so, you know, we have to contend with this,
Yes.
all of us that are alive now. And so we have two evangelizing religions. They're both fundamentally monotheistic. They emerge from a tradition that's quite similar. There's many things that they have in common, but the border between them has been rife with conflict for a very long time, and that has not ended.
Jordan Peterson was being very non-sectarian in his concerns.
There's no disputing with me the fact that in some sense we all have the blood of history on our hands.
Yes.
I'm firmly aware of that. And
No, that's what I'm
it's an
saying.
existential burden for everyone. And I'm not trying to make the case that this is particularly or uniquely true of Islam. I certainly know that that's not the case. What I'm saying instead is that these are things that we have to contend with, and we don't exactly know how.
I'll
Right?
tell
We
you
still
how
have
to-
the problem of these two evangelizing religions, right?
Okay.
That are going head to head in some sense.
Earlier in the discussion, the Muslim scholar Muhammad Hijab had articulated the Muslim desire to see Islam spread far and wide.
One of our, not objectives, but one of our hopes, okay, is that people embrace Islam and become Muslims. Islam is an evangelizing religion. It's a religion which aims literally to enter every home. There is actually a prophetic saying that says that Islam will enter every home, not necessarily meaning everyone will become Muslim, but it will enter every home in some way, shape, or form.
Later on in the podcast, I think Jordan Peterson was replying directly to this comment, and he made a statement which I find very interesting, where he expressed an inclusivist attitude towards religion.
It may be the case that we'll find that the better we are, the more we're like each other. I mean, wouldn't that be a kind of union under something approximating God? That all good men could see in each other a reflection of something that was the highest?
It sounds to me like Jordan Peterson is saying there that if the Muslims become better Muslims and the Christians become better Christians, etc., then they will all be uniting under God. This is very similar to a mood expressed by Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement in the West, which is a branch of the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. In a lecture on Sri Ishopanishad, Prabhupada stated,
These are mental concoctions. Religion is going on like this. They're fighting. I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am Christian. Nobody knows religion. The real religion is this, Krishna consciousness, which teaches how to love God. That's all. That is religion. Any religion, it doesn't matter whether it's Hindu religion, Muslim religion, Christian religion. If you are developing love of God, then you are perfect in your religion.
So here Prabhupada explicitly rejects the evangelical nature which Jordan Peterson is concerned about. Prabhupada says elsewhere that we have no interest in converting people from Hindu to Muslim or Muslim to Hindu. What we're concerned with is developing in people their dormant love of God. Prabhupada has also stated that the test of a religion is how successful it is at developing in people pure love of God. This ties in well to Jordan Peterson's statement prior to the clip I just played.
I would say the proper mode to conversion is something like shining example. And then if you're governed by a doctrine that is in fact divine, and you're managing to embody that in the sense that gives you the glow, the charismatic glow of embodied divinity, 2 steps removed, let's say, and people are willing to abide by your words as a consequence, well, more power to you. And that's a lot more efficient and effective than compulsory war or armed conflict or any of those things. And I mean, this is a constant problem. And
I think Jordan Peterson makes a very important point there, that if we just become better in our spiritual lives, that will attract other people, and this is also a road to peace. But I think there's another point which should be added to the discussion, which is that one of the prime motivating factors behind the religious fanaticism, violence, and wars which Jordan Peterson is concerned about is bad theology, specifically the idea that God is evil. Or to be more precise, ideas about God which entail him being evil. Dr. Howard Resnick has articulated this point very clearly. Here he is explaining the internal logic of religious fanaticism.
There's actually an internal logic. There's actually an internal logic to this, and the logic is valid if you make just a few simple, monstrous assumptions. The first assumption is that God is a psychopath. I mean, you don't say that, but that's what it amounts to. God is a psychopath. So that if you join the wrong religion, God will torture you, send you to hell forever. I mean, forever is a very long time. I mean, imagine having a child. Imagine your child being in pain and screaming, crying out to the mother or the father for help. And the supreme loving Father can hear those screams and those cries for millions and billions of years and never help the child because billions of years ago, in an infinitesimal little human life, you join the wrong church.
He gives a few more examples and then explains.
If you really believe that anyone that listens to this preacher is going to suffer the most horrible possible suffering, it is your moral duty to remove that preacher from society. And even if someone leaves their religion, they also have to be killed. Why? Because it's a bad example. You know, bad examples should be punished with death. Because if other people follow that example, anyone that follows that example will suffer the most horrible consequences. Therefore, it is morally required of you to kill that person.
He then explains the flaw in this reasoning and gives an alternative.
The problem, the obvious flaw, the obvious mistake in all forms of religious fanaticism, the obvious mistake is that it's based on assuming that God is a jerk or God is evil. If you start with the assumption that God is infinitely loving and infinitely good, then what would a loving, good parent do with children that love the parent in different ways? Kill them?
As always, let us know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoy this sort of thing, be sure to subscribe so you can see more of it. You can hit the like button to help us in the algorithm, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hare Krishna.